And good morning. That is right. Now, yesterday, IRS whistleblowers Gary Shapley and Joseph Ziegler revealed just how much money the Biden family may have brought in from those foreign business deals. Listen.
How much money did Hunter Biden and his business associates receive from the Ukrainian company Burisma?
Burisma paid to everyone involved $6.5 million.
$6.5 million. Burisma also paid Blue Star Strategies and a law firm hundreds of thousands of dollars, bringing the total Burisma payments to over $7 million. Is that correct?
That is correct. $7.3 million.
$7.3 million. Between 2014 and 2019, this brings the total amount of foreign income streams received to approximately $17 million, correct?
That is correct.
Gary Shapley, who first came forward claiming that the Hunter Biden investigation was poisoned by political interference, doubled down on claims that investigators were blocked from looking at Hunter Biden's laptop. Now, he says one U.S. attorney who donated to the Biden campaign in 2020 actually stopped multiple felony charges from being filed against Hunter.
After United States Attorney for D.C. Matthew Graves, appointed by President Biden, refused to bring charges in March 2022, I watched United States Attorney Weiss tell a room full of senior FBI and IRS senior leaders on October 7, 2022, that he was not the deciding person on whether charges were filed.
The hearing was heated and emotional as Ziegler opened up about what it's been like voicing his concerns, all while being a Democrat. Watch this.
I kind of equate this to experience and feelings I encountered when coming out. It was honestly one of the hardest things I ever had to go through. I implore you to consider that if you were in my position with the facts as I have stated them, ask yourself if you would be doing the exact same thing.
Now, despite the evidence brought forward by the whistleblowers, Democrats still stepped in to defend the Bidens.
We are not here today, unfortunately, because the facts have brought us here. We are here today because Donald Trump is exerting an influence campaign.
I know the American people are confused because we're all confused what we're doing here. Nothing this majority has claimed about the president or his family has merit.
Like every other try by our colleagues to concoct a scandal about President Biden, this one is a complete and total bust.
Now, Hunter Biden is set to plead guilty in court next week for 2 misdemeanor tax offenses and a felony firearm charge as part of a plea deal.
First thing I do is I say, would you look at this? You know what I mean? Oh, go figure. Look at this. Oh, look at this. Oh, where is the? I'd like to look at it. You should have said, look at this, and that would have probably got you off if you told him to look.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Benny Brigade reporting for duty. Today is Thursday, July 20th, 2023. IRS whistleblowers describe Hunter Biden cover-up not letting me do my job. Bombshell interviews and bombshell testimony that has ripped the political world asunder. MTG, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the great, drops absolutely thermonuclear bombshell, Oppenheimer level, on the committee hearing room. Everyone gasps as she rips open Hunter Biden's laptop and exposes the exposed. Whoo, baby. And that very same congresswoman will join us very, very soon. Marjorie Taylor Greene joins the show. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. How y'all like that interview with Jim Caviezel? Man, that was so much power, so much energy. So such an honor, this program, this movement, this group of people, to have Jim on. Amazing. It was the man was incredible. If you watched yesterday, I encourage you to go back and rewatch. If you missed the show yesterday, Jim Caviezel on, just spitting bars, speaking truth to power, talking about protecting children, speaking out against Joe Biden as a predator. And then talking to young men about pornography addiction and things that are so powerful and important in society, and talking about fearing God more than Satan. And we didn't run a single ad, we didn't do a single promo. We just did an hour with Jim Caviezel live, and it was awesome. I just spoke to my soul, and I hope it was speaking to your soul as well if you tuned in. Important work there for the nation. For the fabric, for the moral fabric of who we are as people in this country. It is important who we choose as our leaders. It is important who we are morally in this country. Our founders, John Adams, arguably the most important founder of the Founding Fathers, said that the Constitution is written wholly for a religious and moral people. So are we that? Are we deserving of our Constitution, ladies and gentlemen? Are we deserving of the rights that were given to us in that Constitution? The IRS whistleblowers yesterday came forward to Congress and proved that the leaders of this nation and the people who run this nation right now, they think they're in control. God's actually in control. The people who run this nation right now, they're not deserving, ladies and gentlemen. But part of the reason why they're not deserving is because they don't believe in your right to privacy. They don't believe in your right to freedom. They don't believe in your right to be protected as an individual, as a parent, and as a citizen of this country. Ladies and gentlemen, our protection and our privacy is utmost importance to this show. Wow, we're going to cover for you in a second how RFK is being censored in a censorship hearing in Congress that is ongoing right now. But my protection as a creator online, as somebody who does this for a living, is of course paramount. That is why I use silent. Have you ever been talking about something with your wife, your boyfriend, or whatever relationship you're in, and then suddenly, the next thing you know on your phone, you see like an ad for that thing you were talking about? Hey, honey, do you have my socks? And then you see ads for socks. You're like, oh my God, my phone's listening to me. It's super creepy. Not only is your phone listening to you at all times, but it also has pretty damaging radiation that can be very harmful to you. Detox from your phone today with Silent. Silent is a light and portable Faraday sleeve that goes over your mobile device and protects you, your privacy, your security, your health. It's a patented silent pocket. Faraday technology, and it blocks harmful radiation and wireless signals. Go to Silent today, slnt.com. Use Benny at checkout, 10% off, free shipping, qualified orders. I use Silent. This is important. It's important to detox and to spend time with people who are real and your loved ones. Whew. And it's a good product, ladies and gentlemen. Go to slnt.com. Use Benny at checkout for a special discount. Ladies and gentlemen, we had a discount version of the Justice Department ongoing because they're not the pros that they used to be. They have a leaky ship. It's leakier than the Iraqi Navy over at the DOJ because IRS whistleblowers are coming out. FBI whistleblowers are coming out. Everyone came out yesterday. One of the whistleblowers gay, and he was talking about how this is like him coming out of the closet. This was the moment when the Leviathan was broken, and it is a special moment for us to observe, and we're going to cover it in great detail. And the person, may I say, the person who won the hearing, Marjorie Taylor Greene, the person who, has such iron encased balls, metaphorically, to bring forward the clips and the photos of Hunter Biden and his sex crimes against women and expose them to the party of women who, man, baby, we're going to get there. And Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to join us exclusively. She loves you. She loves the Benny Brigade. She's going to join you exclusively to talk about it. But man, I got to tell you, I want to start off with a clip. A clip that really proves what a disaster yesterday was for the libs, okay? I hope you're ready. I hope you have the salt. I hope you have your mugs ready to sip salt today with me. And Biden attorney, Dan Goldman. Such a greasebag, this guy. You ever heard of this guy? Dan Goldman. He's a congressman from, I think, Connecticut. And he's such a greasy individual. And anyway, this guy is he acts as effectively the attorney for the Biden regime. And he's in Congress. He's like the new Adam Schiff light. And he's always up there trying to defend Joe Biden. He clearly compromises trust fund baby. And the pinnacle of white elitist liberal privilege, this guy. And he got into this trap with the IRS whistleblowers yesterday. It's the best thing that you'll see today. He was asking them about Joe Biden and his knowledge of the Biden crime family. And what he did was he asked the wrong questions and ended up proving that Joe Biden was part of all of these deals in order to effectively shake down every single country across the world that hates us for cash money. Get fat stacks, secure the bag. This is a wild clip. Watch this. It's just the first and paramount clip to show you exactly what a nightmare this hearing was for libs. Watch Dan Goldman, lawyer for the Bidens, swing a bat, okay, and clock himself right in the face. Check it out.
And you testified that he said that Hunter told his dad, according to Rob Walker, quote, "I may be trying to start a company or try to do something with these guys." Now, let me ask you something. That doesn't sound much like Joe Biden was involved in whatever Hunter Biden was doing with the CEFC if Hunter Biden is telling him that he's trying to do business with them, does it?
No, but it does show that he told his father he was trying to do business, and he was
okay.
talking
Well,
to his
that is
father
true. Hunter Biden
about the
does
business.
try to do business. That's correct.
Oh, good, got me. Stepped on a landmine there, gold man. Ooh, dude, it was a nightmare yesterday. Starting off with Jim Jordan. Talking about how it seems like every single story is changing inside of this Biden crime family investigation, except for the whistleblowers. These whistleblowers, of course, started with the opening of their testimony saying they voted for Biden. These guys are lifelong Democrats that are saying, wait a second, not only like I voted for Biden, like this isn't a political thing. This is about two different tiers of justice. And the Justice Department would not allow us to go after the crimes of the Biden regime. They protected the Biden regime. They protected Hunter Biden. They stopped us and shut us down at every turn whence we were investigating. The only stories that have changed here has been the Department of Justice's story, that they're not involved in any of this, and David Weiss, the federal attorney who was supposed to be able to charge anyone, anywhere, at any time. Listen.
They've changed their story. You guys haven't. What do you think happened? What do you think? Mr. Weiss was consistent with the investigators up until this October 7th meeting, and then he changed. What do you think happened, Mr. Shapley?
I mean, I don't know what happened internal at Department of Justice, but what I can say is that the story has been changing from Department of Justice and U.S. Attorney Weiss, and I think the only person that's really had any documents that have been corroborated are my own.
Exactly. I think what happened. I think it's obvious. Anyone with common sense can see what happened because he said it in Mr. Graham's letter. He said, I had discussions with Maine Justice. I had discussions with the folks, the Deputy Attorney General, the Attorney, whoever it was, I don't know, but he had discussions with the people at Maine Justice, and suddenly things change.
Why would the Justice Department be changing its story now? Because you remember that clip after clip after clip of Merrick Garland going, I will have no interference in this. Turns out that Merrick Garland had his pudgy little Skeletor-style fingers in every little pie on every level of this and was pushing, pressuring, or stopping actual justice from occurring to the Biden family, as James Comer illuminated for us here.
Do you believe you'll be able to tie this money to Joe, and how much money in total? My exit question.
Well, I think there's going to be easily 25 to 30 million plus. And a big development happened today that I don't think anyone's picked up yet. I asked the question, the very last question I asked when I had time yielded to me by Representative Burleson in Missouri was, would you be willing to hand over the paperwork with respect to foreign transactions, because it's been almost impossible for my committee to subpoena bank records from foreign countries. The IRS has that, and they're willing to turn that over to the Ways and Means Committee, who will then hand it over to us. That's a big deal, Sean, because we suspect that the Bidens had offshore bank accounts, and that today was a huge development that'll open up a new door for us to move forward in our investigation.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the moment where the IRS, because of these whistleblowers, are now going to be turning over all of the evidence from their investigations to Congress. We look forward to Congress moving quickly here. It's not a lot of time. There's only 18 months between now and the 2024 election, which is why it is shocking that Gary Schlafly is straight up saying, yo, this is, of course, the original IRS whistleblower, straight up saying, yo, The political appointees for Joe Biden decided whether to charge the president's son. Does that look like grounds for a special counsel to you? Yes, it does. Does that look like 2 tiers of justice? Yes, it does. Take it away, Gary.
The Justice Department allowed the president's political appointees to weigh in on whether to charge the president's son. After United States Attorney for D.C. Matthew Graves, appointed by President Biden, refused to bring charges in March 2022, I watched United States Attorney Weiss tell a room full of senior FBI and IRS senior leaders on October 7, 2022, that he was not the deciding person on whether charges were filed. That was my red line.
That was the red line. So he's saying Merrick Garland continued to lie to the American people and say that David Weiss could charge anyone anywhere at any time with no interference. And I said, okay, that sounds good. That's the way that the law is supposed to proceed. And that was a lie. It was a lie because you had to get sign off. You had to get the little nuclear keys turned and switched over from Biden political appointees. They are the ones who decided whether to charge Hunter Biden or not. The people who answer to the Biden regime and the Biden family, and who probably profited off the Biden crime family. That's how it works. That's how it works inside of an oligarchy. There was another agent, Agent X as it were known, who came forward yesterday. This man's name was Joseph Ziegler. Joseph Ziegler had some unbelievable testimony and was probably had the most powerful testimony because we hadn't heard from him before. Schlafly has been on various cable news shows and has done Fox News and CBS. We'll play a clip from CBS, actually, corporate news covering this and both these whistleblowers. But this was his first time in the limelight. Joseph Ziegler came forward ready, bare-knuckle brawler. Watch.
I will also note that while the impression has been conveyed by the U.S. Attorney in Delaware that he has similar powers to that of a special counsel in this case, free rein to do as needed, that was not the case. It appeared to me, based on what I experienced, that the U.S. Attorney in Delaware in our investigation was constantly hamstrung, limited, and marginalized by DOJ officials as well as other U.S. attorneys. I still think that a special counsel is necessary for this investigation.
Special counsel. That's how you got Bill Clinton. A special counsel. Bill Clinton had moved around Monica Lewinsky like a piece of luggage throughout his administration, trying to get her away. Bill Clinton had 9 dalliances with Monica Lewinsky inside of the White House. 7 of those, Hillary Clinton was literally on property. It's worth noting. And they wanted to put these people back in the White House, okay? This is how little accountability there exists on the left. So when you subtract God and when you subtract morality from your political worldview, this is what's left. This husk, this shell of a movement. Again, paraphrasing John Adams, our Constitution was designed for a moral and religious people, and none other will be able to keep it. The only reason you got Bill Clinton impeached was because there was a special counsel that was interned to look into this protection racket around Bill Clinton. They moved Monica Lewinsky around. They made her lie. They asked her to lie. This was one of the charges against Bill Clinton, was they were manipulating Monica Lewinsky's testimony to get her to lie in order to protect the president. And protecting the president is exactly what Joseph Ziegler says this entire investigation has been about. They were not allowed to ask questions that led to Joe Biden.
There was an environment when we were interviewing witnesses where you were afraid to ask questions that could lead to the presidential campaign. And this is after the campaign's over. So questions like that, it was restricted, and so things like that we were limited to talking about.
So that's what this was all about. Just chop it and block it, okay? Merrick Garland lied. No, there was no freedom to charge Hunter Biden for all of his crimes. They covered up the crimes. They also made sure that they told the attorneys for the Bidens that they were going to raid certain sheds. They tipped them off at every step of the way. They tipped them off, protected them, covered them in protection, much like the Secret Service does when there's a bag of cocaine, an 8-ball of cocaine found in the White House. Joe Biden's I mean, you see these clips of Joe Biden now. What happens when you take the cocaine out of the White House, man? The guy's like falling asleep in his chair at the White House. But here we have the proof. The proof was that they were not even allowed to ask questions that could potentially lead to Joe Biden. In spite of the fact that they have all this preponderance of evidence, Joe Biden's in the room with me, Mr. Chinese Commissar. We're going to be very upset if you don't pay us. Joe's in the room right now. I'm waiting here with my father. You know, it's interesting because the only thing that would really scare libs would be if this story permeated into the corporate press and permeated into the media that they watch and they know that their mindless NPC voters watch. So if this starts reaching like sheep herd level, then there's a panic button that's hit. And what you saw yesterday was this bombshell report from CBS News. Catherine Herridge, she does a great job over there. She used to be at Fox. She's now at CBS. She's been doing incredible work. Watch Catherine Herridge talk to both these whistleblowers and really like rip the bark off this story.
But Ziegler described to CBS News a series of roadblocks that included his efforts to interview Hunter Biden's adult children about the legitimacy of his tax deductions.
What did the assistant U.S. attorney tell you?
That's going to get us into hot water.
Ziegler also told us prosecutors would not sign off on pursuing leads that might involve President Biden.
Anytime we potentially wanted to go down the road of asking questions related to the president, it was that's going to take too much approvals. We can't ask those questions.
It's a politically sensitive case. Wouldn't it require additional approvals?
Yes, I do understand that, but it would be like, well, let's think about it. Let's put that on the back burner, and it would now move down to item number 50.
So you have Biden supporters as whistleblowers. These dudes said that they voted for Biden. This is not a political witch hunt, as it always is with Donald Trump. These dudes voted for Joe Biden, and they're saying, but we have something left in our soul. Like our souls have not been shredded and utterly immolated in totality. We have some self-respect left, and this is wrong. What's happening here is wrong. And we're going to get into the prostitution angle here, ladies and gentlemen, in just a moment. We're going to get into the real blackness of the human soul in just a moment. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, it is money that corrupts. Unfortunately, our money is worth less than it's ever been. My friends at Allegiance Gold can help protect you against this Biden family. They clearly don't know how to handle their money. They clearly don't know how to handle our American tax dollars or our banking system or our stock market. Very, very bad signs on the horizon. And Jim Cramer on CNBC is saying there's no recession in sight, which means, my God, you better get prepared now. Ladies and gentlemen, gold. Gold, silver, precious metals. Protecting since the time of Christ. You're hedging your investments. Gold was delivered to Christ, the Christ child, because it had value then and it has value now. Let me encourage you to diversify your savings with gold. If you contact my friends at Allegiance Gold today, you'll get up to $5,000 in free silver with qualifying investment. Protect with Benny today. ProtectWithBenny.com. Go there and give them a call. Do not let the feds play monopoly with your money, especially the degenerate Biden family. Now, Byron Donalds is a hero. Byron Donalds is my boy. Byron Donalds, we're working on some projects together. It's going to be really exciting. We're going to go to the real swamp. Wait and see. It's going to be awesome. Byron Donalds is a rising star. Some people are like, Byron Donalds should be the vice president for Donald Trump. Byron Donalds was doing a bit of a rehearsal for that, talking about the prostitution ring that the Bidens were running yesterday. Watch.
Your transcript, page 17, what it says is that you were investigating a social media company, and through the process of that investigation, you found out that Hunter Biden was paying potentially for prostitutes in a potential prostitution ring. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
So these people, these human scum, were laundering money in order to pay prostitutes. Now, I just want to preface this by saying the showstopper yesterday was Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene has a backbone made of iron and steel that have been melted down from the battleships at Iwo Jima. Dude, Marjorie Taylor Greene straight up threw the photos from Hunter Biden's laptop into the faces of Democrats left yesterday. Not like metaphorically, but physically did that. Watch.
Ask Mr. Ziegler, when did you start your investigation? In your testimony, it was November 2018. Is that correct? Yes or no?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you. During your testimony with the House Ways and Means Committee, you stated that through bank records, you identified Hunter Biden was paying prostitutes related to a potential prostitution ring. Is that correct? Yes or no?
Yes, that's correct.
I've also reviewed those same bank reports, commonly referred to as SARS, Suspicious Activity Reports, and I'm very troubled by them. We read thousands of them in the Treasury. This particular excerpt from a SARS report talks about human trafficking and in regards to Hunter Biden and Owasco and payments he was making. Regarding the Mann Act, if a person is transported across state lines for sexual activity, such as prostitution, that could be a violation of a federal law. Is that correct?
I actually recently looked at the federal law regarding Mann Act, and I believe that that is correct.
Ladies and gentlemen, the person, speaking of the Mann Act, the person who had the real stones in their shorts to actually bring up these images, this image, actually the most viral image to come out of Congress in a very, very long time. We've had to crop in and blur this image. One of the people that is being abused by Hunter Biden in these photographs available to all on Hunter Biden's laptop. I encourage you to go to the Marco Polo Association. One of these was actually a assistant. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. Just so that you know what kind of an individual you're dealing with here. Hunter Biden threatened to withhold assistant's pay if she didn't FaceTime him naked. Messages from laptop reveal. Oh, got it. This is the guy who's available at all times with Joe Biden, walking around with a little red backpack. Little red backpack, walking through the White House. Just in case you're wondering, like the moral fabric of this family. There it is. And there's more. But there's only one person that we would wish to cover the more with on this program. A lot of people would come on the show and be like, I don't want to talk about that. Their flax will be like, no, we don't want to touch it. We don't want to talk about it. The great MTG is fearless to talk about these subjects. And she joins the program now. Congresswoman, thank you so very much for your work in exposing the crimes of the sick, degenerate family. I believe one of the greatest lies ever pulled over the eyes of the American people is that the Biden family is run by this kindly old uncle patriarch who's just an old ginger grandfather who just loves pinching the face of his grandchildren, and he's just trying to do his best to raise his son. And you blew a hole in that fake facade yesterday, and we thank you for that.
Thank you, Benny. I really appreciate it. And I know a lot of people are shocked at the images that I showed on the Oversight Committee, but I'd like to explain why it was important to show those images. Those are actually proof of a crime, and these women are victims, and they should be looked at as victims. They're prostitutes that Hunter Biden was paying, and we have proof of his payments to these prostitutes. Not only did we read these explicit reports in the Treasury, these are bank reports called suspicious activity reports outlining human trafficking, describing how Hunter Biden was paying for prostitution out of his law firm, which is prostitution is illegal, but paying for it out of your law firm is illegal. And then we found out he was writing it off on his taxes through the brave word and courage from the IRS whistleblowers. This is a massive crime that any regular American would go to jail for. But the Department of Justice shut it down, and they refused to prosecute Hunter Biden for the crimes that these whistleblowers were exposing and bringing forward to the prosecutors, asking them to prosecute. And so I had to walk the American people and walk the committee through with proof of Hunter Biden's crimes, proof that he paid and bought plane tickets for this so-called West Coast associate, the assistant you were talking about, that he was forcing her to do, FaceTime naked with him. But I showed the airline ticket it was important to show that. It was paid for by him, had his email address on it. He flew her in town for less than 24 hours. The sex pictures that I showed to the committee have the actual date and location, Washington, D.C., on the photos. That was on the poster board that I was able to show to the committee. That's proof of him engaging in prostitution. And then we have the payments as well. He paid for those through Zelle accounts and through Owasco. And we have those in bank statements. And so I just was walking the American people through that story, walking our committee through that story, and having it confirmed by these actual IRS whistleblowers.
If you've been paying attention, and if there was a moral, any shred of morality inside of our press, they would have been rallying to your side. I know that many members of the media disagree with you, but they fancy themselves feminists. And so they would be publishing headlines like this one from the Daily Mail. Hunter Biden could face prostitution charges for transporting hookers across state lines. I want people to know that what the Congresswoman exposed yesterday has been printed. This isn't crazy off-the-wall stuff. You have the photographs here in the press. This is available for anyone to report on at any time. Paying $30,000 for medical services, and you can scroll through this article. You can just see you can see the photos of the prostitutes. It's readily available. Like MTG isn't. She's just exposing what anyone could find right now. She just has the guts to do it.
Well, and imagine if this was Don Jr. or Eric Trump. Can you imagine what the press would say about them? Can you imagine what the Department of Justice would do to them if this same evidence was revealed against President Trump's sons? It would be unthinkable. But instead today, just to your point, Benny, as I'm here on Capitol Hill and just came back to my office after voting, the press was asking me if this is considered revenge porn. And if this was inappropriate for me to show these pictures. And they were asking me if other committee members were angry with me for showing these pictures. They didn't ask me about the proof that I exposed and showed the American people, because I think the American people deserve to know how bad the two-tier justice system is here. No, they were making accusations against me. But it's really terrifying. So I want to spell this out very simple. If the Department of Justice will not prosecute Hunter Biden for the tax crimes he's committed, for paying for prostitution through his law firm, for violating the Mann Act, which is human trafficking in our country. If they will not prosecute him for those specific crimes and all the proof is there and the IRS whistleblowers gave it to them, what will they do? This is an absolute outrage, and this is why Merrick Garland must be impeached. This is why every Republican voter, if you're registered, you really have to think hard about what 2024 means to you. We cannot change anything in Washington, Benny, without control of the White House, because if we have control of the White House, then we can make changes at the Department of Justice. But right now, Joe Biden, who is head of the Biden crime family, he is the head of Biden Inc. He is the one that is in charge of the Department of Justice, and they are in full protection mode of Joe Biden and Hunter Biden.
So, Congresswoman, seconds ago, these people were screaming about Brett Kavanaugh, believe all women, we must respect women, going after Harvey Weinstein, and so on and so forth. Yet, these are the people who want to put Bill Clinton back in the White House. These are the people that are openly protecting this degenerate who abuses not only his own staff, but human traffics. In the time of Sound of Freedom, Jim Caviezel was on the show for an hour yesterday. They don't seem to have any morality left, actually, to defend this. And they were screaming at you. I just couldn't believe it. Jamie Raskin's saying, how can we show these images? How can we possibly show them? They got to be taken down, Mr. Chairman. What's your response to that?
Yeah, they were outraged at the images. They weren't outright outraged at the proof of the crime that I was presenting before them. And let's be real, Benny, they're not outraged by these images. These are the same type of images they want in children's book, in public libraries and read at drag queen story times all over the country. These images do not hurt their feelings or hurt their eyes to look at. This is who the left is. What they were upset about is I was actually showing proof of the crimes, and people were finding out for real what has happened. Because remember, the Democrat Party and their mouthpiece, the mainstream media, they covered up the Hunter Biden laptop story, the most explosive story in 2020. They covered it up because it contained the real proof that Joe Biden himself, who is now president of the United States, engaged in all type of money laundering, and that his son Hunter Biden is an absolute criminal. That's why Jamie Raskin was upset about the images I was showing. But Benny, let me tell you something. There's more to come with this story, because I needed more time with those whistleblowers. I had an important question I wanted to ask them. And I had started to get into it when Jamie Raskin and Goldman and others on the committee were upset and trying to stop me in what I was saying. But Hunter Biden downloaded many sex tapes on all types of pornography websites, a foreign amateur porn site as well, all the way to Pornhub is what we understand. My question I wanted to ask those IRS whistleblowers, and I think they had the answer for me because I was watching their faces. I wanted to find out, did Hunter Biden receive any payment or make any type of money, any type of revenue stream from the porn he was uploading on all these websites? And if he did, that revenue that he took in for making sex tapes, did he report it and pay taxes on that revenue? That was the question I was trying to get to, and I hope I can get those questions answered.
In a time when there seems to be a really high level of awareness about sex trafficking, Sound of Freedom, of course, at Bedminster last night, Jim Caviezel was on the show for an hour yesterday. This should be one of the most despicable crimes that could be exposed, and it would seem that everyone should be rallying to your side. But even some Republicans are like, oh, I don't want to touch that. Yeah. Can you speak to what is it that moved you to actually expose these crimes to the American people? Because this is the most public it's ever been, right?
Yes, and I mean, believe me, it was uncomfortable to show those images. I was nervous to do it. But the reason why I did it, Benny, is because things are so bad. Things are horrible. Women and children are trafficked every single day. Sex slavery is real, and God bless them for making the movie Sound of Freedom. It has truly been a gift of truth and knowledge that our country very much needed. But the reason why I did it is because I believe in the American people, Benny, and I believe in truth. And when people know the truth, that convinces them, it convicts them to act. And I believe that no matter how outrageous or horrific it is, we have to put the truth out there for the American people. And I know they will make the right decisions moving forward. And the mainstream media and the Democrats are the party of censorship. They are the party that tries to cover up the truth. So we have to push through that in any way we can. And sitting on an oversight committee as a member of Congress, number one, I'm protected by the speech and debate clause. So I can say and show information in any way that I want to. And I have protection as a member of Congress to do that. But also on the Oversight Committee, it goes into congressional record. And these crimes are real. The Department of Justice is the Department of Injustice, and they are not prosecuting Hunter Biden or Joe Biden for that matter, because our real investigation is into Joe Biden. But by doing it on the Oversight Committee, no one can erase it, no one can censor it, and they can't cover it up from the American people.
So it sounds like there's more to come.
Definitely, there's more to come. Yes.
All right, wonderful. Final question I'll have for you, I have for you here, Congresswoman, is the committee defended Hunter Biden. They sprinted to defend Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden is available at all times with a little red backpack wandering around the White House. He's on the president's balcony, right? Like they're putting him front and center. He's going on trips, right, with Joe. But this guy not only is a sex pest, right? Not only is a woman abuser and potential human engaging in potential human trafficking, as James Comer illuminated for us on Tuesday. He also seems to be quite racist in some of his text messages, something that would seemingly be reported out if it was one of your interns sending messages like this. But here's an article about Hunter Biden saying no yellow when it has to do with like women that are to be served up to him, and he's talking about Asian women. Hunter Biden's used the N-word throughout his the laptop. There's N-word usages in his private text messages. You're just barely scratching the surface here. This is the person they're defending.
That's right. That's right. They're defending him, and he is quite a racist. I mean, today you have the Weaponization Committee, and all the Democrats are outraged at Bobby Kennedy because he's talking about the very real possibility that COVID-19 could have been engineered to target people by race. And so the Democrats are trying to censor him. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, just maybe an hour ago, was trying to completely shut him down and censor his speech and his ability to speak to the committee about his opinions and information that he had. But this is the party that wants to cover everything up, and they don't care about race. They don't care about women. They don't care about children, because if they did, they would close our borders and they would stop the human trafficking. But here's the real truth, and I think this is my opinion, and I'll tell you what I think. Hunter Biden is protected. Joe Biden is protected because Joe Biden is an asset of the intelligence community, and he is installed in the White House. And they have to protect him and keep him safe because he's completely controlled. He does everything he's told to do by the Democrat Party and the powers that be that are behind him. But the intelligence community, the FBI, the Department of Justice, the CIA, and many others are the ones responsible for protecting Hunter Biden and Joe Biden himself. And because they do it, they are compliant, and when we should be holding them accountable for not prosecuting, for covering up and hiding the crimes of Hunter Biden and Joe Biden himself. And they have reasons they protect him, Benny, because he does exactly what they want him to do.
It makes perfect sense. Occam's razor. It's the simplest explanation. And he does, yeah. I mean, quite obviously. Look at we're funding Ukraine's border a lot better than we're funding our own. Marjorie Taylor Greene, thank you so very much for being on the program. Thank you for your fearlessness. I mean, you should see the comment section just melt down when you're on the program. The people love you. You can follow MTG over here. 800,000 followers on Twitter. 800,000 Patriots can't be wrong.
Yeah, and that was after a year of not even having my Twitter account.
Final. Okay, I have 60 seconds. This tells the story of that cover image right there, that beautiful one with Tucker and Trump. Just give us one background story on that.
Oh, that was a great time. That was at the first Live golf tournament at Bedminster. And we were hanging out on the president's balcony right there, watching the players play. We were having a ball, and I would love to tell you the conversations we had, but I'm just going to keep those to myself.
Okay, we'll read them in the new Tucker book. Thank you so much, Marjorie.
Okay, thanks, Benny.
Godspeed. I mean, he does say no yellow. That's what the guy says when talking about getting a prostitute of Asian descent. I gotta be careful here. We're the ones who get ripped off lines just for reading Hunter Biden's text messages that have been reported. There it is. Dude went and withheld pay from his assistant if she wouldn't send him nudes. This dude. And then he brought prostitutes across state lines, which of course, he brought it across state lines. Heard that? Day and night with Kyle Rittenhouse, right? Yeah. What about human trafficking across state lines? Jeez. Dude, there's an interaction which is so important with Marjorie Taylor Greene from yesterday, and I wanted to jump to the Congresswoman, but I think it'd be remiss without playing you this with them just screaming at her to stop. Just, I mean, like a vampire in sunlight. Check this out. I mean, this is like bombshell stuff. You've probably seen it because this is the most viral moment from the hearing yesterday. But it's worth replaying.
3 seconds over. As long as Ms. Ocasio-Cortez can get equal time, she can keep going.
I will let Ms. Green wrap up?
Yeah. They were screaming, "Are we allowed to do this? Are we allowed to do this? Are we allowed to do this?" Ooh. These people, they're just unbelievable frauds. But this is the person that they're protecting. Again, a racist, a serial woman abuser. And my team is telling me, actually, that we couldn't play you the full clip because the blur, we haven't been able to blur enough of it. When was the last time we couldn't play you a clip from a committee hearing? Because we couldn't blur it enough. Jeez. The filth. The evil. We'll see. The 2024 election will be like it'll be like, does our country call out, do we have the capacity to call out evil to his face? Do we? Here's a video from Hunter Biden. Inexplicably, he was filming this, of him talking to a either Ukrainian or Russian prostitute, talking talking down to her about the abuse that he just committed to her, against her. He filmed this stuff. Don't get upset at me or MTG for noticing, okay, these crimes. Watch.
Everything fine? Are you hurt in any way? Any way are you hurt? Hey, is anything hurt on you? Anything? I was literally saying, I'm sorry that it took so long to give you $10,000. Do you have any bruise? Anything? Have I ever touched you in a bad way?
Ooh, makes your skin crawl. Oh, it's disgusting. We were talking before the show, like, how bad is it that we know all of these Hunter Biden crimes? Like we do this show and we know it off the top of our head. And producer ALX and Rolls Royce are here. Is like, man, it's really dark stuff. We gotta go to church. We gotta get our sins forgiven, just for knowing these Hunter Biden crimes off the top of our head. We need something more wholesome. Let's switch the show to something more wholesome, ladies and gentlemen. Like the American farmer. Don't you want to support the American farmer? Don't you want to stop supporting China like the Bidens do? The Bidens wanted to go support China. Did you know that 60% of American pork is from China? It's owned by a Chinese conglomerate that uses illegal substances inside of their pork production. Don't go with those people. Those people are not in it for this country. Go with my friends at Moink. M-O-I-N-K. Moink is the meat supplier that my family uses because it is a lot of work to get in and out of the grocery store with a 1-year-old, a 2-year-old, a 3-year-old. We got babies on the way in the Johnson family. We use Moink. Moink sends us the best bacon you'll ever eat, okay? Moink sends us grass-fed, grass-finished beef and lamb, pasteurized pork, chicken, sustainable wild-caught Alaskan salmon, straight to our door. It is delicious, and it helps us save rural America and real American farmers. Keep American farming going by signing up today at moinkbox.com/Benny, moinkbox.com/Benny. And if you sign up today, you will get a free ground beef for a year. 1 year of the best ground beef you've ever had. But this is for a limited time. MOINK box.com/Benny. moinkbox.com/Benny. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here is our election update. Oh, okay. Joe Biden has named his campaign headquarters. Biden salutes his family values and names Wilmington home, the home that had all of the classified documents in it, the home that was accessed by the communist Chinese, his campaign headquarters. Joe Biden has announced that he will be making the headquarters of the 2024 campaign for his longtime private residence in Wilmington, Delaware, based on family values. My family values, my eternal optimism, and my unwavering belief in America and the middle class and our nation's backbone. I will be running my campaign from Delaware as I sleep and drool and am incontinent. Whew, man. Okay, well, great. This is the same place where Joe Biden kept the classified documents in the garage next to his Corvette. Remember the footage? You can actually see the documents in a box next to his Corvette. Great job, everyone. Really great job. Biden continues to be clowned around the world. John Kerry went to China to go suckle from the communist Chinese and try and get the commies to, I don't know, stop making the sun hot, apparently. But he was snubbed. China's Xi snubs Kerry during Biden administration attempt at green diplomacy. John Kerry, Janet Yellen, they're just completely disrespected. These people are they're just disrespected and humiliated around the world. Did you see that Janet Yellen clip of her bowing a million times to her little Chinese emissary? So humiliating. Something that is not humiliating is our friends at Public Square. Did we add that, Royce? In the chat. Something that's not humiliating is our friends at Public Square went public this morning, right before we went live. We want to support them. This is not a paid read, but pretty awesome. No, I want to play the clip. I want to play that clip. Poor Rolls Royce. Typically so speedy on the chat. They went public this morning. I think the ticker is Public Square. PSHQ, I think, is the ticker. And the chance when they rang the bell, Don Jr. was there ringing the bell with them, and my boy Michael. And when they rang the bell, the chants of USA, USA, USA were so loud that CNBC couldn't even do their show. And why not? And why not end on a happy note? Check this out.
Mortgage increases than we thought. The Fed.
You know, Jim, percent of sales right now, new home sales are so much higher than they have been.
Yes, and these guys,
overall sales.
You know, these 8,800 this quarter. The main thing you need to know, though, and I think it's really important, is that home prices are up 40% since 2019, and that's the magic number that the Fed is upset about. 40% increase, and this says, listen, we are going to have more homes, but you're not going to get that price come down.
You heard the opening bell here at the big board. PSQ Holdings debuting via SPAC this time over at the NASDAQ. Generic drug company ANI Pharmaceuticals. All right,
I was going to give a different key this morning, which was Taiwan Semi.
DR Horton. Obviously,
sure.
We'll come back to Tesla and.
No, don't chant. Oh, you got a good energy shift here, baby. You feel the energy shifting? You feel that? We're still high off, not the White House cocaine, but high off of a weekend with Tucker Carlson. Donald Trump Jr., as you saw there, ringing the bell. Donald Trump. We're like buzzing. We got a big energy shift here in this country. Public Square is a great company. The great ALX has told me the ticker is PSQH. So there you go. And this is also a organization that has done a deal with Tucker Carlson's show. Oh, interesting. They did a 7-figure ad buy with Tucker Carlson's new show. So another reason to be chanting USA, USA, USA from the well of the stock market, because we are the majority. We are in control. We collapsed Bud Light. We spanked Target. We forced them to rip down all of their child grooming displays. These are shows of power. We just completely obliterated the LA Dodgers. These are shows of power and muscle in this country, and we need a lot more of it. It's a beautiful thing to see conservatives finally waking up and not just sitting there and eating the sludge that is pushed our way. We are actually fighting back. Brawlers, baby. It's a good movement. It's a good energy, and we're here for it. It is time for our verse of the day from James 5:16. Therefore, confess your sins to one another and pray for one another that you may be healed. The prayer of a righteous person has great power, and it is working. You feel that energy? I'm feeling good things, man. Demons are screaming. They are trying. They're screaming. You're showing the crimes of the Bidens. They're screaming. Sound of Freedom just crossed 100 million at the box office. And Bud Light's going out of business. Dude, they're screaming because of the prayers of righteous people. They are working. We are working. And we are working here for you. And we want to say thank you so very much for watching and supporting us as we march on, Christian soldier. It's your boy Benny. See ya.